afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to Afternoon Express. My name is Jeannie D, and welcome to another Inspirational Tuesday. Our topic for today is adventure, one of my most favorite things in the entire world. And to chat about adventure, we have one of the most fantastic TV presenters in the country here to chat to you. We've got Leanne Manas in our loft, and she recently climbed Kilimanjaro for the Trek for Mandela initiative. Can't wait to actually chat to her. Then there's a guy in the loft who has literally done more traveling and more adventures than anyone would fill up in 5 lifetimes. He's swum every ocean, he's climbed all of the highest peaks across the world, and now he actually takes all of these kids from impoverished communities and takes them on adventures so that they can learn from those experiences. Absolutely amazing. We are live today, so please be sure to connect with us. All you need to do is tweet us at Afternoon Chat using our official hashtag Afternoon Express, and of course leave a comment on our Facebook page. Also, give us a call a little bit later because we are going to be taking your calls. We're also cooking in the kitchen with Mandela.
Good afternoon, South Africa. My name is Danilo Aquisa. So yesterday, everyone was talking about the fact that I love sriracha so much that I must put it on my shelves. Like Jeannie D collects shoes and puts them on shelves. I apparently must put sriracha because I love it so much. It's the flavor of the month. And today, our favorite chef, my favorite chef, Abigail Donnelly, is going to be helping us make something really cool. So sloppy joes, I've seen a lot of them around. Mince rolls, people love them. We're doing something a little bit different, though.
A little bit of a twist. We're adding a nice kind of sriracha, kind of funky slaw with it. And it's kind of dated from the 1930s when it was just like sloppy kind of rolls. And yeah, cafeterias were called sloppy joes.
Yes.
You just hang in there and eat fabulous sriracha sloppy
and it's
joes,
a classic.
maybe.
So if you do not know how to make one today, we're going to be showing you how to do that. Plus, later on in the show, if you ever wanted to cook a salmon, we're going to be giving you a very cool way to cook a brand new salmon and add a salad to that. It should be so delicious. And all these recipes are on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. So make sure you go and visit that. And as Jeannie said, interact with us on all of our social media sites. In the meantime, though, standing by on our couch is one of the ladies who really taught me how to present television. It is Leanne Manas.
Now, having graced our television screens for the past 11 years as the anchor on SABC2's Morning Live, and with her silvery voice, radiant beauty, and ability to capture the hearts and minds of her audience, she is no stranger to South Africans everywhere. Joining us on the couch is multi-award-winning presenter and mother of 2, Leanne Manas.
Jeannie, so nice to be here.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolute pleasure.
I remember when you first got onto television and you were doing this finance business show.
Yes.
Don't ask me why I was watching it.
I would like to know, but we'll discuss that later.
I even remember some of your key outfit pieces. You had a black and white striped suit. I remember a lot.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you serious?
And I remember watching, thinking, this woman is exceptional. Your voice, everything was just amazing.
Wow.
What made the young Leanne Manas, who did drama and English, decide that television was going to be your game?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that I think the question should be the young Leanne Manas who had drama and English behind her move into finance journalism. Because, I mean, that was the reality, because I truly knew nothing about finance. But I was given an opportunity, and it was a brilliant opportunity that came my way that sort of said to me, here it is, this is the moment where you can get into television. I knew I wanted to be on television. I knew I wanted to be in broadcasting. And I had the opportunity, but I didn't just want to sit there and read an autocue and not know what I'm talking about. So I went in and I read every finance newspaper. I studied a postgraduate diploma in economics journalism through Rhodes University. I went to company results presentations. I mean, really?
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. I mean, come on. So, I mean, I did that, and I learned as much as I possibly could. And then I moved into the finance world, and that was my break into television, and it was incredible. I really enjoyed it.
And you do it with such conviction and with such credibility. What did you initially want to do, though?
Believe it or not, I used to make my friends, God bless them, because the poor souls, I knew they were good friends when they would do this. I mean, I would make them sit down on a couch while I would stand next to a hi-fi. And we've got Wi-Fi, but those were hi-fis in those days. And I would turn music on, and I would be the DJ.
Yes.
So I was convinced I was either going to be a DJ or I was going to be anything in the more, the lighter stuff, because I was always funny, and I needed, I was a drama student. So
yes,
I wasn't serious. I didn't even know what was going on in the news.
Yeah.
I had no clue what was happening. So But the reality was is that when I started auditioning for roles like what you do, people would just look at me and say, oh, no, sorry, there is no way, you don't suit this is terrible. And then one day I read a news bulletin and that was the end of that. It was like, you are so suited for this.
Yes.
So I landed up in the news genre.
And it's the same industry, but it is so completely different. Now, if I had to try and read news, people would be like, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing. It's just a different style. And,
exactly.
And then the bug bit, and then I absolutely fell in love with it. And then news became something that I loved. But from there, I've, managed to do, and on the program I'm on, it's not only about news, and that's what I love about it. There's so much more to do.
Now, you've interviewed like basically everyone on the planet, but not just business and finance people. There's two people in particular that I've missed and I haven't had the opportunity to interview them, Mandela and Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
incredible.
difficult to top it because, I mean, my list of people who I've interviewed, I mean, you surpassed that long time ago with all your travels around the world, but those two are gems. They really are. And, believe it or not, they happened a week apart. Yeah. So, I mean, everything from there was downhill. Yeah. I mean, I might as well have just ended it there and then.
Exactly.
Truly, it was one of I learned lessons from both of them during those interviews. The first lesson I learned from Oprah was that every single person, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, you are a normal human being. Yes. And I had put her on a pedestal because she is somebody I look up to still. Exactly. She's still, for me, the ultimate. I really believe...
Oh, I want to be her when I'm big. I'm
so
obsessed.
do I. I mean, I love her. And that is just somebody who I think is amazing. But when I met her, it was like meeting a friend. She was so down to earth. She was so real. And she made me feel at ease. And then I realized, hang on a second, she's a normal person. And from that day onwards, nobody really ever intimidated me to interview them thereafter. As for Mandela, when I first met him...
Where were you? What was the environment
What happened was I was chosen to be a 46664 ambassador. Yes. And I was then called for a one-on-one meeting with Mandela. And I was called into a room, and Zelda, his personal assistant at the time, led me into his room. And I sat down, and there was Madiba, this big, embracing character, sitting on this chair. And I was asked to sit in front of him. And he took my hand, and he started talking. And Jeannie, do you know what he said? I have no idea. Because I was like, and then I just walked out the room. I had no idea what he said to me. I still, till this day, don't know why.
What a pity nobody was filming it or anything like that.
There are pictures. There are pictures.
Yeah,
but what he was saying, I have no idea. He was basically telling me why he wants me to be his ambassador and what it is he saw in me and all of that stuff. And I just sat there.
You were just hearing
and I was like, and I'm just, oh, wow. It was amazing, though.
How do you prepare for moments like that? Like, I know in life, there's some people that you really do panic about interviewing, and then others are easy and just enjoyable. But how do you prepare yourselves for those tough ones?
I mean, there have been tough ones that have failed dismally. I'm sure you've been in that situation too. Where it's just, you can pull out the genie charm, the genie in the bottle, and it just doesn't work. And I've tried that and it doesn't work. But there are others that are so... I find that people that allow you to be you and for them to be themselves, I find that it's the people that are not real, that have something to hide, that are pretentious, that are... and that falls apart. And you know what? Actually, they're not worthy of the airtime. And that's how I feel. Exactly. I mean, if you are real and you're an individual that has substance and depth and you've got things to learn from that person, man, they're the easiest people to talk to.
Absolutely.
And it's easy. There is no preparation because it just comes naturally.
You are such a remarkable person to interview. It must be funny sitting on the other side, but we're going to chat to you a little bit later. Good. There's so much I want to know. After the break, Danilo makes us some spicy sriracha, sloppy joes in the kitchen, and we're back on the couch to chat more with the fabulous Leanne Manas. All that after this.
Five Roses blends only the top 2 leaves of the finest Ceylon teas. Because nobody makes better tea than you and Five Roses.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, South Africa. So yesterday while we were in the kitchen, I got a real cool note to say that sriracha seems to be my favorite sauce that was ever created. And so we're going to be cooking with it again today, and I'm very excited. So Abigail, we're making a sloppy joe, which is one of the classics.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to let you just tell me what to do.
Okay, great. So what I'm using is chicken mince, just a take on beef mince. You could also use pork mince if you want. But it really is one of the most simple kind of family dinners, get-together friends, everybody help themselves.
But the sloppy joes are classically made with beef mince.
Beef mince, yes.
So we're going with the chicken because?
Just because it's lighter
Different.
and because chicken mince is numerous.
Okay, cool.
So that's great. Okay, so add a little bit of olive oil. You could use sunflower as well, whatever you prefer. And then just add a little bit of this chicken.
Cool,
Hot
break it up
pan.
nicely.
Yeah, because it's really minced finely. You don't need to break it up too much, and it doesn't need much cooking either, which is great. And then my take on it is what I call my new tomato sauce. I think your sriracha's favourite is my tomato sauce. Even the kids at home absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And there's two variants. I don't know if you spoke about that before.
Oh, no, I've never seen
but
it.
we've got
I
the
didn't know
white cap one, which is the sour variant, and then this one is the traditional with the green cap. Yeah.
I've never tasted the sour one.
Yeah, so it's just got more of a lemony, more of a kick, which I'm using in the slaw, which kind of using instead of mayonnaise and vinegar. And it's the simplest
They've both got
slaw
that kind of
ever.
garlicky twist to it, but this lemony sort of
And
zest
chili,
is yummy.
yeah, which is really great. So if you want to just give that a
wanna
little
cry
bit
the
of a
whole time
stir,
now?
do you want to swap? Can you
I'll
give that a
swap.
little bit of stir?
You can do all the talking.
Yeah. So what you could do is you could brown off your mince first and then take it out and then add your onion, garlic and chili. But yeah, I just kind of bung it all in and
Lovely.
get it all
Get all
fine,
those
cook
flavours
up.
combined in
Absolutely.
it from the get-go.
So
Go
while
for
that's
it.
cooking, because you don't want the chicken to cook before the onions, add that. Red onions or white onions, bit
Red
of spring
just
onion,
sweet.
whatever, yeah. And this fantastic convenient chopped garlic. Add as much as you want, make the recipe your own. I like lots of garlic. And I love that zing and kick of ginger as well. So just toss that in as well.
It's almost complex. Oh, that smell
Can you
immediately.
smell
but
that? It's
As soon as that
amazing.
ginger hits the pan.
Yeah.
That's yummy.
And sometimes you can add tin tomatoes, but we've got the sriracha, which is like vibrant and fresh and red. I just use tomato paste.
Okay.
So that's a little bit brown.
So these are quite dry ingredients. How are you going to get the sloppy from the sloppy
The
dough?
sriracha.
Okay,
But also you don't want it too sloppy because you don't want all your kind of bun to be a bit soggy in that. You still want it to hold. And some tomato paste for colour. Give that a good stir.
Talking about soggy things and sloppy joes, when I was in Turkey, one of the things that they serve you there is a sloppy hamburger. Basically, they put a normal hamburger inside like a steaming little basket, like this little container with steam in it, and it comes out mushy, and they love it.
Is that not like a steamed dumpling? Like
No,
in
it's not.
Thailand?
It's an
Because
actual
that's-
burger with this soggy roll.
Oh my gosh.
This
Was
is
it
an actual
delicious
meal.
though?
Well, we eat sloppy joes, so I don't think it's any different, but it was so yummy. Such a different
And
experience.
while you're doing that, I'm just going to quickly make the red cabbage slaw. You can use green cabbage as well. You could use baby, green and red together, combine it. And again, as I say, the white cap, the sour one,
Yes.
instead of your mayo
It's
and your
perfect for the
vinegar
slaw,
and
because it's
lemon
like
juice.
making a nice slaw there.
And this is really kind of a take on real food trucking. California, LA, where sloppy joes are the big thing.
So basically saying, if you want to be trendy in the kitchen, this is
Have
the
a
way to go
sloppy
about
joe.
it. Yes, have a sloppy joe.
And the new tomato sauce, sriracha.
Yes.
Okay, just for a bit of vibrancy and colour. And of course, it complements the sriracha is coriander.
Those fresh flavors.
Is that a nice
You know,
mix?
I've been saying for so long on Afternoon Express, in this very kitchen, how my love for coriander has grown, slowly but
I'm
surely.
happy for you, Donnelly, because it's my favourite.
Really.
Yeah.
Now using
And
the
it
different
just
sriracha in here.
Yes, yeah. So we've got the sour one there, and that shows you the versatility of it as well.
Nice
But if you don't
combination.
have the sour and you've only got the traditional, it doesn't matter.
Okay. How many
I
does
just
something like
wanted to
this
show you.
serve?
That would serve probably about 6 people.
Okay. Oh,
And again, whatever buns, you could
smell
toast them as well if you want.
yeah, I think I can take this off the heat before it starts to...
Woo!
Okay, there we go. Oh, that smells so good.
And look at the colour. And it's just kind of, and you want the chicken pieces to kind of clump together, so it gives it texture and substance as well. You don't want it all kind of too mushy.
The ginger in there when it gets into your throat.
Smells beautiful.
Well, it
Okay,
smells
so
good, but
instead
also
of cutting
attacks
them,
the
just
throat.
again for something different, then you can just pile your nice hot toasted rolls on a board, have a big bowl of that, have your slaw, and everybody can kind of dig in. And then I cut
So you
them
cut
in
yours just
without
like
cutting
that?
that way, which is kind of
So
the
it's almost like
traditional
making a
way.
cook sister... I mean, not cook sister, like making a... Oh,
donut?
goodness, we're terrible. No,
Yeah.
it's not even hot cross bun. It's like fed cook. We make
Oh,
like a
fed
fed
cook,
cook.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Pretty much
Minced
the
fed
same
cook,
sort
yes,
of process.
except this is more kind of an American
Okay, you
tie.
can put this over here. I'm scared I'm
yes,
gonna
yeah.
spill.
No, you won't.
Oh, I will.
There we go.
Trust me, Abigail. You know this.
Little
You've cooked
bit
with me
more.
long enough. Okay, that goes
I'll
like
tell
that.
you, you won't have a better sloppy joe than this.
So we continue to
And then again-
compile those, right? And then just
Exactly.
put those in the salad.
And then what I like to do is just give this a bit, I would leave it for about another 15 minutes as well, just so that all the flavours kind of go
Oh,
together.
yum.
And then you pop that in, like that,
We like that.
and then you
That looks delicious.
pop it in
Amazing.
your mouth.
Oh, really? Must
You
I?
might not want to do now, but you can.
Might wanna do this
Might not
now.
be too
Let's try.
attractive. Yum.
So how about you link us to Jeannie and Leanne on the couch? How about that?
Okay, cool.
Good.
Let's do it.
No, you do it.
Oh no, what must I do?
Standing behind our couch, Jeannie and Leanne Manas.
That looks absolutely delicious. I'm salivating. But Danilo, you should have come and done training with me. Top billing bites. You don't happen to do a thing like that on live TV. Yummy, sloppy joes. We're back on the couch now with the lovely Leanne Manas. So, Leanne, I want to know, you know, being in the media industry and especially involved in news, finance, business, and very newsy topic, current affairs kind of things, I try not read the newspaper every day. I read, you know, what's going on Twitter, but how do you manage to stay quite detached from everything that you listen to every day that might be quite negative?
It becomes sort of like you learn to cope with it because it's a big problem. I mean, there are many times that I've been influenced by stories that'll come up. I mean, I will never forget the once I read a story, and it was when the tsunami happened in 2011.
Yes.
Now, a lot of the time, and people may not know this, we don't get to see the news before we read it. So I'm not saying all news bulletins, I'm saying particularly with Morning Live, because Morning Live is a 3-hour program that you've got news every half an hour. So, and you're doing interviews in between. So the scripts are just coming in and you're sometimes seeing it cold. And this particular time I was working alone. It was during December, it was holiday time. And do you know that there was South Africans killed? And at that time, I read a friend's name on the autocue for the first time when they named him, that he had died. And if I tell you, my heart stopped at that moment. Luckily, they were on overlay, and I just went cold, and I couldn't believe it. But you somehow managed to detach yourself from it to such an extent that if you have to ask me after I've read a news bulletin what was in that bulletin, I can sometimes not even tell you what was in it, because it becomes a job. It's almost like, and I hate to equate myself to a doctor because I'm really nothing but, I like that, but you know, you're going and you're doing a job, you're reading it and you're forgetting about it, but just to keep your emotions out of it. And that's what your job is not to get emotional about things. Don't take it seriously and read it with as much meaning as you can, and then get away from it.
Exactly.
It's just something that you learn.
Now, that's life on camera. Off camera, being in that environment, your friend, you know, the people that you work with, your crew becomes like your family because of the kind of hours that you work. Vuyo was a very, very amazing guy, and you had such a fantastic relationship with him.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, that was really one of the hardest things anybody's had to deal with. I mean, we sit here nearly 2.5 years later, and it's still, I mean, for me I will never ever lose the Vuyo and Leanne thing, ever. And I've begun to realize that it's something that I will carry his memory around with me. People see me and they think of him.
It's like Jonathan and Simba, I think.
You go. It's the same thing, except this was almost going on for a 10-year relationship on air of live television 5 days a week. So it was really, really intense, where we genuinely had a wonderful relationship. And what was so scary was when it did happen, I think automatically people thought about me. It's like, how's Leanne going to handle this? And it was really difficult, and it still is difficult to handle, because it's one thing being on a program that somebody voluntarily leaves, and then you have to carry it on and reinvent it and say, well, you know, they moved on, they got something better and bigger. But when somebody leaves a program like that,
it's devastating.
Yes, we like to believe he went to somewhere bigger and better, but he didn't necessarily want to go, and we really didn't want him to go. So you have to sit there and make it happen and make it work. And look, it's nearly been, you know, 2.5 years down the line, and it's still going.
And throughout that, I think you've got a very solid support structure around you as well. You've got an amazing family, very close.
Very. I mean, that was a good thing for me, because if it wasn't for having an amazing family, it would have been even more devastating. But, you know, my family is my life. They really are. I mean, they're just everything to me. Oh, wow, you got that stunning footage.
How old are your kids now?
Well, Gabriella is 3 years old, and Alexandro is 6 years old. So they're amazing. I mean, they have got such a vibrancy and such a spark for life. They give me everything. I am because of them. I honestly am.
Amazing.
It's the best thing I've ever done with my life, is have those kids.
And I suppose, I mean, you work so early in the morning, so you've got your day really to be with them.
Yeah.
Or no, but you also have a business as well.
Yes and no. I wish it was that simple. It would be the nicest thing, but it isn't. I mean, because I've got so much going on outside of work. But yes, I get to experience a lot of things with them. I can pick them up from school, you know, maybe 3 times out of the week, or sometimes 5 times and sometimes none. Like, for instance, this week I don't think I've I've managed to be able to do it yet.
I would be terrified being your child, being picked up by you in school, because I've seen how you drive. And I want to speak about that a little bit later. One of the most amazing adrenaline junkies.
Yes.
I think you are very similar to me in that regard.
Yeah, except for the question you asked. Am I allowed to say what you said? I went in for dental surgery yesterday, and Jeannie, what does she say to me? Not like shame or anything. I told her I've got 10 stitches in my mouth. She says to me, please, can I see them? It's like the first time anyone's ever asked me that.
I like things like that.
I like you. It's cool.
Okay, we're going to be chatting about your adventurous spirit a little bit later. After the break, we chat to an inspiring young man who's channeling his passion for adventure into making a difference within his community. And we visit the studio of an artist who makes breathtaking pieces out of recycled materials. We'll be right back.
Get 15% off with W Rewards when you pay with your Woolies card. Get the card, get the rewards.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. I've taken a step outside of the kitchen and for a very, very good cause. Because you know that big number, 25, the age where many people spend the majority of their time nurturing a hangover and deciding which flavor of instant noodles to make for supper. Well, this young man has achieved more than most people, 3 times his age. He's climbed Kilimanjaro, Mount Elbrus, the highest peak in Europe, sailed across most of the world and become an inspiration within his community for at-risk youth. Joining us on the couch is Monde Sitole. Now, Monde, I think I should probably just start like blowing wind at you and throwing ice and stuff, because this is probably the most chilled environment you've found yourself in a long time. Welcome to the loft.
No, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks, my friend. Very cool. So, Monde, your story, first of all, is incredible. Take us through some of your favorite adventures so far.
For me, how it started, I've always been an armchair adventurer for a long time. Then I got an opportunity via Cape Wind Jammers. So they told us about this opportunity where we'll be one of the first young people to attend school and board a tall ship. So I applied and I couldn't swim. So I applied, and I remember one instance when I was on, do you know those tall ships, like the Pirates of the Caribbean tall ships?
Yes, with the massive
so,
masts.
Yeah, so we sailed on those, and I remember we're in Namibia and we were on the mast. And I was just wearing my board shorts and nothing there. And then for me, it actually confirmed greater things yet to be achieved. And everything that I thought was far-fetched, it became tangible and real. So hence, when I always speak and I speak with young people, I always emphasize on first giving them an experience, because young people are like fishes swimming in a pond, not knowing there's a greater sea out there. So when you expose them to a reality other than what they are exposed, there's something intrinsic and something latent in them that gets switched on, you see. Then you can unearth, and then you can start a dialogue with these young people, you see.
Man, I love that. I love that so much. That is awesome. So we'll tackle that, I think, in a little bit. But let's go back to the ship school. What is that process like? So you attended most of your high school then on a ship?
Yeah, we sail from Namibia, St. Helena, Ascension Island, Fernando, Brazil, Trinidad, Tobago. Then we went we spent 6 months on a stationary school in Nova Scotia, Canada. Then we sailed on a tall ship for the remainder of the semesters, and everything that we learn is experiential. And hence, actually, I started the organization, the foundation, because I found that the education in South Africa is not engaging enough. It's mundane, and the kids are not engaged. And it's so sad that when young people are young, they are very spark. They are very inquisitive.
They're susceptible to know things. They want to know. They're inquisitive.
And I always say that Miles Davis made his best jazz when he was 17, when he was 18. Steve Jobs found Apple when he was 20 years old with Simon Cook. Richard Branson found Virgin when he was young. So there's something about this youthfulness that needs to be engaged. So, and we cannot wait for policies to change, nor can we wait for corrupt leaders to change. We can influence more proactive, more engaging, more real change as a youth, partnered in efforts. So what we did, we actually joined mentors. So we have Stuart Ntlati, he's an inventor, invented a telescope for NASA. He's actually Sir Stuart Ntlati. He's 24 years old. Yeah, so we have Khululekani Magubane. He's 20 years old. He wrote 19 books. Then we have Malaika wa Azania. She's an AU ambassador. She wrote 2 books. Then we have Lufefe Nomjana. He actually created spinach bread, organic spinach bread.
He then created healthy breads he was delivering.
So we have Refilwe Lidwaba. She's a pilot. She's 25. What we are actually going to do, we're going to go to all these underprivileged schools in the Eastern Cape. We're working with 6 schools. Then we're going to employ 6 libraries. We're actually waiting for 2 containers from the US with 22,000 books on each container. So we're going to open 6 libraries. We're going to have 6 leaderships within the 6 schools. Then we're going to employ the mentors to mentor the kids. Then after at least 8 months, when the kids are being mentored, they will need to actually identify relevant problems within their immediate community. Then they need to devise strategies in terms of solving these as a youth, as a collective themselves, instead of just waiting for government. So we'll have like categories like best innovation in health, best innovation in sanitation. Say, for instance, there's a problem with waste. How can they, as a youth, turn that waste into a recycling project? So it fosters social entrepreneurship. So whatever they're learning at school, it becomes real and tangible. They don't just memorize and regurgitate, because nowadays people only go to school because they have a deep conditioned fear that they might not get a job.
Exactly.
Not because they want to develop, not because they want to
learn, grow, build.
Exactly. So, and we have an app. Sorry, I can talk all day.
That's fine. I don't even need to interview. You can have this whole interview by yourself. It's awesome. It's rocking.
So we have
it's
an
such
app.
A story.
It's called The Dialogue. So it has online teachers, online educational games that trigger cognitive and critical thinking. The chess.
When's it going to be released?
We want to release it next year when we start. We're in Eastern Cape because the outreach program is already started. So we climb every Fridays with with the kids. We're gangsters. So they come from extreme backgrounds. Then we use extreme sports as a catalyst for change, so they can channel that energy into something more positive. Because they use the same spirit, that same bravery they use to stab a person, to now climb and do something that's got value to add. Yeah, exactly. You see, so that is already happening. They're climbing, and they climb every Fridays and Saturdays, and we're planning a trip in November. But I won't be with them because I will be at the summit. I'm part of a summit. It's called One World Young Leader in Bangkok.
Yes.
Then I'll go to France on another summit. It's for UNESCO.
And then somewhere along there, there's sleep somewhere along that line. So in that process, there's sleep somewhere?
You sleep when you...
No, exactly. So your adventure side must also feed a lot of this, because you're a massive entrepreneur. And I know that there are parents at home and their children at home that are now sitting at the edge of their seats wanting to know how to get involved in all of this, I'm sure. But in terms of the adventures that you're still running, are you still continuing to climb mountains and sail oceans? And
No, do you know what happened is that when I was climbing, I had a trip, it's called Dare to Dream. I always say that it is to reinvigorate that latent spirit in all, to dare to dream and envision beyond any circumference and grab hold of their dreams, no matter how big, no matter how small, they might seemingly appear, you see. So now I've climbed Kilimanjaro twice. I did Mount Elbrus in Russia, North Face. I did Mount Denali in Alaska. Then the thing that I found that most mountains are very touristy now. So hence now I chose alpine style, where you climb with limited fixed ropes, with no oxygen and mask. Not because I'm superhuman, because for me, I always say that mountains are not stadiums where I satisfy my desire to achieve. They're the very cathedrals where I practice my religion. So there's a deeper reverence, there's a deeper respect for the actual mountain. So I need to,
you are to the natural
so I need to climb it as natural as possible, because it's not the mountain you conquer, but yourself indirectly, you see. So the mountain is the actual hero. So I need to climb it as honestly as possible. And because I always say that people who use oxygen masks are synonymous to people who use doping when they run.
To try and cope with life, I see.
So next year, I want to do all the 8,000 peaks in the Himalayas without bottled oxygen. So I'll do K2, which is the most technical mountain in the world.
Yes, deaths have been on that mountain. Many.
Everest is the most highest, but not the most technical, you see. Then there's Kanchenjunga and other mountains in the Himalayas. So I want to do those. There are 14 of those 8,000 peaks, you see. It was inspired by a lady, because my favorite climb is actually a female.
Really?
Wanda. Yeah, her name is Wanda Ruthwick. She's a Polish climber. She started mountain climbing when women were not allowed to join expeditions.
She was like you. She's sort of like going in there to sort of break the mold. I know, Monde, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do have to go to an ad break. But I do later on. But I just want to make sure we continue this conversation later. You'll be joining us on the couch. More of these stories later on Afternoon Express. Now, over the past 3 months, you know, every Tuesday, we have brought you some of the most forerunners when it comes to sustainability across the country, from construction and the reduction of landfills. We spoke about tips on how you can live a greener lifestyle. But what about when sustainability meets a passion for art? Well, we caught up with one of the artists who is combining his artistic passion with a love for recycling. Take a look. For 16 years, Mbongeni Buthelezi has made a name for himself as one of the country's boldest and most original artists.
When I was young, up and coming as an artist, I attended this exhibition, in one of our galleries around Joburg, where there was this artist from Cape Town, one of my favorite actually, Willie Bester. From what I saw there, I was so motivated and so inspired, to say, look, if this guy can do this, so am I. And eventually, when I went back to school at the time, I got into my studio and I started experimenting with something slightly different.
Mbongeni recycles plastic litter as his medium, and his works address social and environmental issues. Art lovers are intrigued by his innovative use of discarded plastic.
Plastic is such a strange material to work with. It's fascinating, and the approach, towards implementing it, onto the surface is also very different. And that is why, it always captures things in a completely different way. So for me, that's a very interesting breakaway from what I see from other fellow artists. Some of these plastics, when I heat them, they tend to respond differently. Some of them change color. And fortunately, I know those colors. And, a painter will mix the paint, apply into the canvas, and it will harden. And in this case, when I heat the plastic, it will be hot. For me, it's the process of this material being wet. And if it hardens, it's colder. So, that change of form, of the material is also very, very fascinating. I love it, It's just, it has become part of me, actually. Some people call me Plastic Man for some reasons. I don't know. It's very funny.
Well, being the Plastic Man has also won him major awards for his contribution to both environmental issues and the arts with his unique creativity.
If I were to describe my style, I would say that it's more expressionistic, simply because of the technique. It pushes me towards that direction. I prefer working with figures, human faces. It reflects on my daily experiences, and I like that very much. I like that instant feeling, of what one can see and respond to it. I like to be in a situation where I do something that I can interact with, and people to sort of understand, what is it that I'm trying to do, with my work. To be honest, there's nothing that I prefer to have changed, in my life with regards to my art, and my work. But, there's one thing that I've always wished, I wish my parents were here today, just to see the journey that I'm traveling, when I started up to a point where I've achieved what I've achieved, with my art. And unfortunately, they're not here to celebrate and enjoy, this thing with me. And I think this is the only thing that I regret, and unfortunately, it's beyond my control. I've got, other works that are in one of the galleries in Cape Town. And there's one big show, that I'm working towards in France next year. It's going to be at in one of the castles, in the south of France. So, I suppose it's going to be one of the biggest shows I've ever had, in my whole artistic career. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, and working hard, and also excited on the other hand.
Wow, so many inspiring guests right here on Afternoon Express today. I'm feeling very, very inspired. I hope you guys are too. Now, yesterday I saw a tweet that came through to find out when are we going to announce that Go Green SMS competition winner. Well, we're very excited to announce that on Monday, the 19th of October, we'll be drawing the winner for our Go Green SMS competition Ultimate Grand Prize. So if you've entered the competition, make sure you keep your phones handy and tune in for Afternoon Express on Monday, because we might be calling you. Now, after the break, we're back on the couch with Leanne Manas and Monde Sitole to chat about the Trek for Mandela initiative, and we make a unique salmon dish in the kitchen. Don't go anywhere.
Get 15% off with W Rewards when you pay with your Woolies card. Get the card, get the rewards.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Established in 2012, the Trek for Mandela Kilimanjaro Challenge aims to create awareness and raise funds for underprivileged girls who can't afford sanitary towels. Celebrities and business leaders headed out to Tanzania in July to scale Africa's highest peak for this year's event, which aimed to raise enough money to support 270 1,000 impoverished girls with sanitary towels so that they don't have to miss any more school. Joining us back on the couch is Leanne Manas, who is one of the celebrities who expected this challenge. And of course, we've got you as well with us. I mean, how amazing is this concept?
Yeah.
Firstly, we discussed actually, we spoke to a minister and a couple of people involved in the developing and getting sanitary towels for these girls. So what an amazing...
It's a devastating story. I mean, it's an amazing initiative, but
Yes.
supporting a devastating issue in our country. When I was first approached to do this, the reality was I honestly thought that, but that's impossible. That can't be happening. You know, we take it so for granted.
Exactly.
We go to a shopping centre, throw whatever we need into our trolleys, and we keep on going. But when you look deeper into the situation, there are so many young girls that are just a couple of kilometres away from you here in this luxurious studio who cannot go to school. They're missing in excess of 50 days a year at school because they have their period. Is there
so
anything
sad.
more normal in your... It's the most... you know, and people criticise me for saying it's the most beautiful thing, but it is. It's what creates
It's life. It is the giver.
It's
the women
life.
who experience this
It's
are givers of
normal.
life.
And
for
the
sure.
fact that young girls are made to feel bad and they can't go to school and they are segregated because of this is ridiculous. So
It's an
that's
amazing
why
initiative.
I jumped on board. I had to.
But Leanne, climbing Kilimanjaro, I mean,
I know. Of like all things in the world. I mean, it was just like, really, do we really have to climb the mountain? I mean, I love the initiative, but do we need to climb a mountain to raise awareness? I am not a guy like this. This is a hero. He's my hero.
yeah. But for you, it's easy. For Leanne and I'm not so sure.
No, it's tough. And you want to do it without oxygen. Not that I did Kilimanjaro you don't do with oxygen. No, that's not what you do.
No, that would have been like doping, didn't
yeah,
you?
no, I was feeling very bad. I was very grateful that Kilimanjaro you don't need oxygen, but listen, I would have taken anything I could get.
I mean, how fit are you? Do you train? I mean,
well, before I went to Kilimanjaro, I mean, the training that we did was insane. It was unbelievable. Up and down the West Cliff stairs. You know, that was when if you ever go to the West Cliff stairs, you know that someone's about to climb a mountain or do something ridiculous. All of these people climbing these stairs, I think it's 210 steps up, 210 down, and that's just one set is up and down, and you've got to do them. And then, of course, it's going on hikes, doing as many hikes as you can do. It's all this preparation. I mean, I started cycling, which is something that I'm really, really loving and enjoying. And it's, you know, I got a great lifestyle going out of all of this, but nothing in the world can prepare you for this climb. It's something unbelievable.
When Yanez did it, I kept on getting messages and things that he was just tremendously emotional.
Yes.
And also just didn't expect what was coming his way, because some days would be warm, then it would be rainy, and then it would be freezing cold. And the food.
Yeah.
What's your experience like of Kilimanjaro?
For me, I always say that Kilimanjaro has been the most remarkable experience for me, because as much as the other mountains have been technical, but the whole ambience of Kilimanjaro for me has been the most fulfilling to me. And I always climb every mountain north side, and also it's just interacting with the porters and learning about their stories.
I mean, how accessible is it? I mean, can your average South African who just decides, well, I really like hiking, I mean, can anybody do this?
You can. You can.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, I don't want to downplay it, because I would like to still be admired by everybody. So it's not that easy. It's really difficult, but the achievement is incredible. And I loved what you said a bit earlier. I think you said it's not about conquering the mountain, it's about conquering yourself. And it is. I mean, Jeannie, it's a constant battle with yourself. It's a constant battle of telling yourself, you can do this.
But because
it's
of fitness
possible.
or because of altitude? I mean, what is the battle when you're up there? Or sleeping in a tent? I know it sounds funny, but I would struggle with
brag?
that.
I never slept in a tent. I still haven't slept in a tent.
Oh, really?
I've never slept in a tent.
Where did you stay?
And I've climbed
On the
about... we slept in little cabins along the route.
Oh,
Huts.
okay.
Yeah. Don't get too impressed.
Sign me up. I can do track for Mandela. The only reason why I haven't done it actually is because sleeping in a tent is actually...
No, I have issues with tents as well. And I'm very proud, and I think I have a huge bragging right about this. I still, till today, have never slept in a tent. And I've climbed to the top of a mountain.
Okay, but then what is that challenge? What is that, you know, when you face that challenge for yourself? Is
with mountains in general, as much as you can climb And obviously, and when Leanne was saying that for me, you can train on a gym and all that stuff, but you have to actually consistently climb because the body has cellular memory. Then it actually saves that. But nothing can prepare you for altitude because altitude is another dimension on its own. You see, because I remember one instant that I think it's in Alaska. Yeah. Then I thought I saw a tent and I was hallucinating. Then I was like, tent, and then it was a rock.
Oh, no, so altitude is absolutely no joke. We're going to be back in a little while. We're going to be chatting to you and, of course, taking your calls as well. But for now, Danilo is back in the kitchen.
Indeed. So hopefully you guys like swimming too, because there we're making a terribly delicious salmon dish we're going to be putting on a salad. He had to join us in the loft as one of our guest chefs. So here we're making something that's pretty delicious, John. I'm very excited, actually. Because salmon is one of those dishes that intimidate me. It's one of those fishes that's so subtle, it's full of flavor already. You don't want to tamper with it too much.
Exactly.
So it does frighten me.
Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is something a little bit more exciting. It's obviously coming into summertime, so we really want to do something quite fresh and flavorful. We are using salmon, a little bit of a play on the pastrami beef.
Cool.
Because we're using the same spices. We've got mustard seeds, we've got coriander, and what we're actually going to do is we're going to cure it. So it's a little something different.
So what is curing first off?
Sure, so curing it basically is you normally use a 50% mixture of sugar and salt. And that actually draws out the liquid of whatever you're actually curing. And it also intensifies the flavour. Gives it a really, parts of beautiful flavour.
Lovely. Well, let's get started. What can I do?
Perfect. So, what we're going to do is
where do we start?
Let's start off with this. So we've got a pan on. We're going to do the cure. So basically, we've got a really nice fresh, fillet of salmon over here.
Right?
It is a slippery fish. And we're going to make a cure. So as I said, we got 50% salt. So we're going to use some nice coarse salt, and we're going to use some brown sugar. Brown sugar obviously just gives it a bit of more of a caramel flavour.
Yes, usually the Salati Golden Brown is probably one that you can use here.
Exactly.
That's the one a lot of people think that this is the only one you can use for, desserts, etc. We use it lots for cooking.
Exactly.
People love it in their coffees, they love it in their baking because it's got that nice caramelly rich flavour to it.
Exactly, and that'll work perfectly with the salmon actually.
Okay.
So we've got some coarse black pepper in there as well. And we're just basically going to throw this over our salmon. And this, you can cure it for as much as you want to. This is going to be a nice quick cure, about 5 minutes or so.
Okay. I see you've got another one that you've made over here.
Yes.
That one's got liquid in it, so what's the difference?
So basically, this is exactly what I was saying. This is the liquid that's been drawn out of the fish.
Because of the salt?
Exactly. And then the flavour actually intensifies.
Amazing.
So this has been sitting for about 5 minutes or so. Yes, exactly.
As you said, you cure for 5 minutes, but any time that you sort of want, as long as those flavours are drawn in.
So curing basically also the same thing you're doing with biltong. You're actually curing biltong before as well. So you can do it with meat, you can do it with pork. It just really intensifies that flavour.
So you're going to sear those up?
Yes, exactly. So this is going to go into a pan. I got it so not so hot. You can take a little bit of the cure off, but I quite like it.
Yes,
there's obviously a little bit of sugar on there, and that'll caramelise really nicely. Cool. So while that's in the pan, I think we could probably go on to our salad.
Cool. So this is where I can help, I assume.
Yes, please. So we've got a bowl over there with some Dijon mustard.
Cool.
Over there, a little teaspoon inside there.
Oh, I love Dijon. Dijon's got one of those flavours that is so full. It's like one of those mustards that you have to love. If you don't like the burny mustard, this is the hero.
A little bit of sugar, just to balance it out. A little bit of salt.
All the sugar?
No, just let me do
a little pinch,
There we are. There we are. Just a tiny little pinch.
Okay, and salt. Okay, fantastic.
Lemon, give it a nice acidity.
One or half?
Do half.
Cool, half a lemon. What is this going to be? Is this the sauce for the salad, like a salad dressing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm just turning the salmon in the pan. It's got the skin on. You don't need to take it off. You'll see once you've taken it off. You don't want to cook salmon all the way through either. You want to keep it quite nice and pink in the middle. So I'm just going to give it 1 or 2 more seconds in here, and we're going to take it off and let that to rest.
Okay. And obviously you can sear it, you can cook it, but the ultimate flavour for that summer freshness, you definitely want to sear it. Give it that nice pinkness on the inside.
Exactly. Cool. And I've called this pretty much, as you said, salmon pastrami. As you can see, there's all the mustard seeds on there. It actually really resembles a beef pastrami.
That's yummy.
So I'm just going to put that over there.
And do I need to add anything else to this? Olive oil or something? Or?
Yes, please. A little dash of olive oil and just give it a mix.
Cool,
there we are. That. Perfect.
Yum. Oh, that smell of that fish is amazing.
Yeah, so we're going to let that rest for a little bit, just basically getting down to room temperature. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to start plating up our salad.
Cool, so basic baby leaf.
Beautiful, lovely baby leaves
salad.
over here. Look at these beautiful, lovely little beetroot sprouts. We've got some There we are, a little bit of cucumber ribbons. Keep it nice and kind of Asian-y.
This is what I kind of think distinguishes a chef from a cook. The chef knows how to plate it.
Well, we'll see. A few little julienne carrots, which julienne just basically means you cut it into matchsticks. Fancy, but yeah. And
we always use fancy words to pretend like we know what we're talking about.
Exactly,
It's lovely.
exactly.
Cool.
So this can be, as I said, you've left the skin on. We could just
Peel that off.
peel that off, basically. There we are.
Oh, it comes off so easily.
It comes off so easily. And if you break it open, you'll see that it's quite nice and pink in
on
the
the
middle
inside.
still. So we're just going to tear these little pieces of salmon onto our salad.
Yes. Oh, that looks delicious.
Yeah, and we've used a little bit of radish there as well. The radish gives it a really nice, sort of crunchy and kind of like a little bittery, peppery taste as well.
I see you've left out the tomato and
No,
the
that's
spring
coming,
onion. Is
that's
that all coming at the end? Okay,
yeah,
so that
you
is
see, you got to
come.
plate it, it's layering it up. Huh?
Just making sure. You see, I'm going to make sure that everyone at home knows exactly what's going on, right,
All
South Africa?
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So then, normally when you're making a salad, you want to layer it up so you've got lots of flavors going through. So the last little layer, a few more
Few leaves, some tomato,
some tomatoes,
spring onion.
spring onions, and
Voila.
yeah. And then we've got your dressing, of course.
Yes, okay, so you can drizzle this on top. Don't forget, if you want this recipe, it is on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. It smells delicious, it's light, it's for summer, and it's really, really healthy for you too. So make sure you guys go get this one. We're taking a short commercial break. When we come back, we're chatting to Leanne Manas as well as Monde Sitole on the couch. Don't go anywhere.
Another delicious recipe brought to you by Salati Sugar. Always good, always sweet.
Show them how much you love them with Bob Martin.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. The theme of today was, of course, adventure, and we're sitting with a whole lot of amazingly adventurous people. And I think that you're going to now really be adventurous to try Danilo's cooking.
I think I might have squirted a little bit extra sriracha on these. So they are delicious. It's looking amazing. Whether it burns your mouth off, I'm not too sure. So I'm going to give you guys all one of them. So maybe the suggestion is, as the cameras go, cut, then you can have a bite. How about
Good idea. Thank you for the warning.
Or not.
Can I serve you some, Leanne?
Yeah, why not? Thank you. There we go.
Okay, so what's next as far as great adventures go? I know that you're going to be doing the racing car thing, the Donaldson race.
Yes, and
which is amazing. I did
which
that
you've
last
done,
year.
and I
It's
was asking
incredible.
you for tips. So
Yeah.
that's the next thing. And cycling. I'm actually going to be doing the 94.7.
Really?
And I'm doing it's a challenge. It's for a company called Novo Nordisk that's raising awareness for diabetes. So it's also a good long cycle challenge. So yeah, that's on the plate.
Fantastic.
Very
Good.
exciting.
And for you?
Your plates.
For me, actually, the primary concern now is the foundation. So we want to start by next year, and because I'm going to be based in Eastern Cape for next year, so we're building a nursery there because part of the work that we're going to be doing with the 6 schools, we actually want to mend the relationship of the school with the community.
Excellent.
So there's a conducive space for learning and stuff. And then we actually have a campaign where it's called the Right to Travel and Dream, which actually we partnered with Cape Nature, Sand National Parks, and Food and Trees for South Africa. We're building vegetable gardens in all the schools. Then we want to take the kids to all the national parks of South Africa.
Do you have a big mirror in your room where you practice all of this stuff? Because you just rattles them on like, you know, how do you focus?
Amazing. You are amazing.
It's amazing, Monde. Really,
Well,
really
thank
cool
you
to have
so much for coming through to the show. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much for
having
being
us.
here,
This has
Leanne.
been awesome.
And of course, Leanne,
We've had a
may
lot of
we
tweets.
just wish you a happy birthday for tomorrow.
I thought you'd never wish me.
I believe you're turning 25.
Yeah, I'm
Jeannie's going to pop out a cake for you later, don't you worry.
Jeannie, please, it's 27. I'm turning 27, and yeah, it's lovely.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy the
And
you so much.
until tomorrow, ciao. Happy eating.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Wow.
Another feel-good production.